going to go ahead and proceed with this portion of the meeting and see if our council vice president is able to join us. I need a motion to officially approve the agenda and establish the emergency meeting. Is there a motion to do so?
Motion.
Second.
Second?
Council
All right.
President,
Yes.
I'm sorry, if I want to make an addition to the agenda, can I do that now?
I don't think so because it hasn't been published, but
Well, it's council member reports and comments. I don't
Okay.
think it's,
all
does
right.
that have to be published, City Attorney?
Not for that. That's not an action item.
Okay.
Okay, perfect. Then we'll be
Thank you.
happy to accommodate you, council member.
Thank
We'll
you.
add that to the end of the item of the agenda. There's a motion by member Soya, second by member Bredefield. Roll call, please, on approval of the agenda, including adding council member comments.
Council- Council President, I need to register an abstention on item 4A. I want to enter that into the record.
Yes, we're just approving the agenda at this point, but we will get to that abstention later on the agenda.
Or recusal, sorry, recusal.
Okay.
Okay.
Brianna, would you do roll call on approving the agenda?
Yes. Councilmember Soria,
Yes.
Councilmember Carbasi,
Yes.
Councilmember Chavez,
Yes.
Councilmember Bredefield,
Yes.
Councilmember Esparza,
Aye.
Vice President Cabriolio, and President Arias.
Yes. All right, the agenda's been approved. Now we're gonna go to the open session item. Before we go there, I will take any comments from the public on the two items listed on the agenda. Is there any member of the public wishing to address the council on this special emergency meeting? And the two items on the agenda, actually 4 items in open session and 1 in closed session. If you are in the public and wish to address the council, please raise your hand on the Zoom software and we will identify you. Seeing none, we'll go back to the dais. Council, we have the first public item is actions pertaining to the food distribution. And just an overall comments, council. We worked with the current administration, Mayor Lee Brand, and with Mayor-elect Dyer and his new city manager to identify methods for sustaining the food relief efforts in the city over the next 60 days, which we anticipate at that end of that timeline, the federal government will be in a position to provide food relief from the latest congressional bill that was signed by the president. So this is essentially a stopgap to ensure that there's funding available and food relief continues over the next couple of months. Anticipation for the federal relief. This is a recommendation to essentially approve 11 vendors for a total amount of $2 million to be split amongst the 11 vendors to provide food relief. We have sectioned the items as 4 of 3 different items to make sure that you guys and the public can clearly see what the items are. So I will take a motion to approve item 1, and that is a resolution to authorize an appropriations to the budget of $1 million. As I indicated, is a $2 million budget cost for the whole thing, but $1 million is already in the budget. So this just reappropriates $1 million of that amount for a total cost of $2 million.
So moved.
Second.
Motion, Member Chavez, second by Member Soria to approve item 1, which is authorizing the extension of the contracts for Neighborhood Industries, Reading Beyond, the Fresno Center, Every Neighborhood Partnership, Education Leadership Foundation, Southeast Fresno Community Economic Development, and Pardini's Catering. With that, I'll go to a roll call.
I'd like discussion, Mr. President.
Yes. Give me 1 second, member, really quick. Let me
Thank
just
you.
clarify that. The motion is to approve the resolution, not the contract. It's going to be a separate motion. So it's for item 1, approval of the appropriations. So we have a motion, a second. We'll go to member Carbasi.
Unless anyone else like to go first.
No, I think you're the only member.
Okay. Thank you. And to the public, I'm sorry we're moving, so sorry for the casual attire today. So just really quick, I appreciate what the CARES Committee, working with the administration and the incoming administration, put a lot of work to find $2 million to help folks in need of food at this time. That means a lot to me, and I want to just acknowledge that. There are some things I've been hearing through the grapevine, and you know how it works through the grapevine. Things get whittled down. But I've I've heard some things said about the SAFER program. That's the Senior Aid for Food and Resources program that I worked with Council Vice President Capriolio and incoming Council President Chavez on. It's something I'm very proud of. And I just want to make a couple of statements regarding that. And I appreciate that we're continuing. About 12.5% of this distribution is going to include this program. This is a citywide program, but with 3 distribution centers. One of them was in my district, District 4 and District 5, but it was open citywide. And basically, it's tailored to seniors specifically. But what I just want to make very clear is this is, I don't know if you can see it, this is a box for the SAFER program. I just want to show people, because I've heard lots of things said, what is actually in this box so you can see. I'll go very quick. This is a dairy product. This is milk. We have bread. We have spaghetti sauce. We have corn tortillas. We have actual fruit, not in a can. We have green beans, Brussels sprouts. I don't know how popular those are, but they're pretty good. Good. We have ready-made lettuce for folks. Oats. We have rice. We have beans. We're gonna do a little plug. Bobby Salazar's mild salsa. Carrots, fresh carrots. We have actual cheese, another meat product for making sandwiches. And one thing that's really important, we have pasta, we have chicken thigh, and we have fresh beef. So if you can see all of this, sorry, I'm not very good with the camera. Because it's for seniors, I wanted the 5 food groups included. And I've heard things being said about this program. I know these boxes cost more, but they cost more because you have pounds of grains, fruit, vegetables that are fresh, actual 3 different meat products. Sorry about the Brussels sprouts, and local dairy. And I just want folks to know, when we created this program, we did it for 2 reasons. Primarily to provide more resources for our seniors, because we were worried about them with COVID. Keep them out of the grocery stores and keep them safe. And the other issue was to make sure that we were using our CARES dollars to also stimulate the economy. And we protected dozens of jobs, not just with caterers that were shut down, but with the food service companies that were affected, like JD Food, when we shut down the restaurants. So I just wanted to throw that out there, let folks know why we did this. It does cost more for those boxes, but I'm going to share with you, we got a few hundred responses over the last several months from residents. This one email I'll never forget, and it's from Curtis Ricks, who lives in District 4. It's actually from he and his wife. And this was back in September. And Curtis said, I don't know where to send a big thank you from my husband and I for this service. We are both retired and over 70, and this service is a godsend. This is the part that got me, though. Also, my husband's sister is totally unable to shop. She's 77 and was not eating properly. The boxes have maybe saved her life. They seem to be put together with care for health, nutrition, and good flavor. Thank you to the people at the drive-thru and to the council members, the city of Fresno, and Pardini's. What a great thing you're all doing. I probably will never meet Curtis, but we're here to serve these people. And it's just a reminder of why we do what we do. So I know the cost was higher, but there was a reason for that. And that's really all I have to say about this item.
Council member, I think the only question from the council is, are you going to cook afterwards, or are you just teasing us?
I'm sorry, I couldn't hear
Are
you.
you going to make us dinner?
I'm happy to.
All right.
I have items to make a dinner with from the 5 food groups.
Council Vice President, we register you online, so you have the floor if you have questions or comments.
Thank you very much, Council President. Happy New Year, everyone. Member Carbasi pretty well summed it up, and we've got many positive responses from many seniors in our district. And a lot of times my staff drives the food to the seniors because they can't get to the location to pick up the box of nutritious, and I stress the word nutritious, food. And it's been a huge success. It's not broke. I don't know why we're trying to fix it. It should continue. It should continue to provide the necessary services to the most vulnerable, and those are the seniors. It's undisputed. And there's a program of this nature and quality should continue. We're not just giving out a lot of starches and carbs. It's actually a well-balanced box of food that will help the nutritional value and the health of all those that are receiving the boxes of food. Pardini's does a great job, obviously, by virtue of what you've seen. And then the response, we've gotten hundreds of letters, emails to District 4 thanking us. And I always say, thank my colleagues. It's all of us working together, all 7 of us working together that's been able to provide this type of quality food to those most vulnerable and those in most in need. So with that, thank you all very much for the moment for me to speak.
Thank you, Council Vice President. I just want to clarify the motion is to approve item A as an apple, and that authorizes the appropriations of the money, and as well as funds 9 of the vendors. We are separating the 10th vendor as a separate item for Councilmember Chavez to recuse himself from. But for the record and for the public's benefit, the vendors would be as follows: Every Neighborhood Partnership, allocation of 100,000; Educational Leadership Foundation, an allocation of 100,000; Southeast Fresno Community Economic, allocation of 100,000; Reading Beyond, an allocation of 100,000; the Fresno Center, an allocation of 220,000; Neighborhood Industries, an allocation of 430,000; Pardini's, an allocation of 250,000; Centro La Familia, an allocation of 250,000; the Food Bank, 200,000; and the Fresno ELC, an allocation of 250,000. So with that, Council, if there's no other comments, I'd like to go to roll call. We'll go to
I have
Council.
a question. Yeah,
We'll go to Councilman Bradfield.
yeah, the question I have is, how are the different awards for the different organizations decided upon? I mean, some got 100, some got 200. How was that determined?
Great question. So the committee, when we met, council member, we looked at a lot of these vendors have been providing these food relief services for the last several months. So we looked at how many people they were serving, the cost of serving each of the individuals, the cost of the products that they were paying for, and the capacity that they had to continue to provide the service. So some organizations like Every Neighborhood Partnership, has so much capacity, and we'll be happy to give you guys the report of how many people each of these organizations have served. It's fair to say that they have served more than 1 million folks, 1 million meals over the last few months combined.
Okay, yeah, okay, I appreciate that. And on the second award, I noticed that each box is $15, but on the first award, a lot of them were different. And some of them, at the high end, which was 70-something dollars, all the way down to, teens. How did we go from that to 70-something, and now we can negotiate 15?
A great question. So initially, when we started this endeavor of food relief, we allowed the partners to secure food from whatever place they could. Some chose the food bank, others chose, OK Produce or their private vendors like Pardini's. Others chose, directly buying from farmers. In this case, to try and get the biggest bang out of our buck, Mayor-elect Dyer worked with the food bank to get us a better price for food boxes that these providers would have an opportunity to buy from. So he can speak to it, but my understanding is there'll be a $15 box and a $20 box, and the food bank will also be creating senior citizen boxes with more vegetables and healthy options for them. And the vendors would have the option to buy from the food bank or to buy directly from their own suppliers, as long as they can, provide the food relief efforts that we've outlined.
Okay, sounds good. Thank you.
All right, with that, we'll take a roll call. Brianna, if you could, for approval of item A as an apple, which appropriates the money and awards 9 vendors.
Is this item 1, Council President?
Yes.
Did we already motion? Motion?
Yes, I have a motion by Councilmember Chavez, a second by Councilmember Soria.
Okay.
Roll call, please.
Councilmember Soria,
Yes.
Councilmember Carbasi,
Yes.
Councilmember Chavez,
Yes.
Councilmember Bredefeld,
Yes.
Councilmember Esparza,
Aye.
Council Vice President Capriolio,
Yes.
and Council President Arias.
Yes. The next item will be the official awarding the one vendor, Fresno ELC. Do you have a motion and a second on this item?
Motion to approve.
All right.
I'll second.
All right, second by Member Sparza. For the record, Member Chavez is recused from this item. So Member Chavez, you can excuse yourself and we'll see you back in closed session in about 5 minutes.
Thank you.
If there's no questions from the council, we'll go to roll call on item B as in boy.
Councilmember Soria,
Yes.
Councilmember Carbasi,
Yes.
Councilmember Chavez. Oh,
He's
sorry,
recused.
recused. I apologize. Councilmember Bredefeld,
Yes.
Councilmember Esparza,
Aye.
Vice President Caprilio,
Yes.
Council President Arias.
Yes. All right, council, with that vote, the city of Fresno residents will officially have food security for the next several months while we wait for the additional federal relief efforts. Thank you to all the vendors who stepped forward to do this service during the pandemic and the council for allocating the money. We will now go to closed session. So council, you should have a link for your closed session part of the council meeting. And then, but before we do that, I'm going to turn it over to Member Carbasi for any council comments from the council before we go to closed session.
Well, Councilmember Soria is first. Did you have any comments, Councilmember? Okay. I appreciate the opportunity very quickly to, I always say that, but you know what happens. Unfortunately, on a somber note, though, there was a very tragic event in Northwest Fresno last Saturday. 4 lives were lost. There was a terrible accident at Palm and Bullard. Now, a lot of the residents have been very concerned about speeding. And we have actually increased enforcement along Herndon. There were several racers that were impounded a couple of weeks ago. And I want folks to know we're going to continue that effort. But in spite of all our best efforts, even with the police seeing this person race on Blackstone and trying stopping this person, unfortunately, this person chose to drive over 100 miles an hour and unfortunately hit 2 cars. And of the 6 people, there were 5 in one car. 3 of those in that car passed away. They were all from the same family. They were all cousins. And the young lady who was in the Mini Cooper fortunately survived with just a concussion. The outpouring of support from the community has been tremendous. This was a Hmong family, and it was just a year ago where we had the terrible Hmong shooting. In just 48 hours, we set a goal to raise under GoFundMe with Pao Yang in the Fresno Center in my office to raise $30,000. And in small donations, we were at $27,681 right now. That tells me a lot that despite all the economic challenges with COVID, people are upset about this issue, but they also have so much compassion for the family that's affected. And the last thing they need to think about right now is going to be funeral expenses. But I also want to send a big heartfelt shout out to Dr. Erwin Chow. He's a pharmacist in Fresno. He donated 3 burial plots for the family so they could be together. And that's a very, very big thing to do. I'm so grateful to you, Dr. Chow, for that. Thank you to the Fresno Center for your help. And I just want to say, because I know 2020 has been a tough year. We're all looking forward to 2021. I sure am. But we have 1 night left. And I don't want to lecture people, but we've had a lot of challenges in Northwest Fresno, especially. Just don't drive drunk. A car, 4,000 pound vehicle, if you're inebriated or under the influence, becomes a weapon. And it's bad enough that you may kill yourself and hurt your parents. You may kill an innocent person, in this case 3. Please, if you're a parent and you're watching, call your kids. I don't care. Like, I'm 30, 37. I'm still my parents' kid. They call me all the time, tell me what to do. So please talk to your kids, tell them to be careful, reach out to your loved ones, tell them to be careful and to watch out when they're driving tonight. And just don't drive drunk. Please make the right decision.
Councilmember Carbasi,
Yes.
better yet, stay home, celebrate with your family.
Right. Absolutely. Thank you for that, council member. And that's all I have to say. And thank you to the community for stepping up to help the families of Christopher Yang, Linda Chang, and 17-year-old Allison Chang. Thank you so much.
Any other comments by the council?
Council President.
Go ahead, Council Vice President, you have the floor.
I just really wanted to thank each and every one of you on the council for passing the resolution naming the community center 8,000 square feet approximately at 6th and Shaw after me. It was such a humbling experience. It's hard to put into words, but I guess the moral of the story is that public service, true public service, doesn't result in accolades. And we don't do it because we want accolades and congratulations and things like that. We do it because we are public servants. We're not politicians. We're public servants. And the episode yesterday, the unveiling was unbelievable for me and my family. I think we've had over 2,000 views of the proceedings, and it had all happened because of you, each and every one of you on the council, my colleagues. And I'm so grateful and thankful and humbled by your recognition. And I'll continue to serve the community. Tyler's going to step in. He's got a great future. We're going to be able to continue to help District 4 and the city of Fresno. Thank you, each and every one of you, from the bottom of my heart. It was beyond my wildest dreams. So thank you, Council President.
Thank you, Council Vice President. Well earned. And just closing comments from me, Council. It's December 31st, and while most people are getting ready for their New Year's celebrations with their families, this council is working and making sure that people don't go without food over the next couple of months. So my deepest appreciations to my colleagues for stepping up and always showing up for their public service, and also to outgoing Mayor Lee Brand and our city manager and incoming Mayor Jerry Dyer and our incoming city manager Tommy. For the last couple of weeks, we have had more Zoom calls with Mayor-elect than I'm going to admit publicly. But let's just reassure the public that the transition work has begun, and it is going to be a smooth transition from the administration to the council. And I do appreciate everyone's willingness to, in this pandemic and difficult and horrific 2020, we continue to show up and check in and have diverging views and have our neighborhoods, but always result with action that helps the city of Fresno and its residents. So, welcome, Jerry. I'm sure you'll give us a 45-minute speech on the 7th, which we will all pay attention very closely to the first 5 minutes, and then get on to the next stuff. But really, congratulations to everyone, and it's been a pleasure thus far on working with you guys on this transition. And for the public, hopefully next year you guys can all have Luis Chavez's cell phone number, and since he's not on the Zoom call, just call me and I'll give it to you. But you can call him beginning January 7th to take over this difficult challenge ahead of us. So with that, council, if you would allow me, I'd like to end this public meeting and get to the closed session matter, and I'll see you all in closed session. Thank you.